Hey everybody, welcome back. Buddies on Buddies, the show with two real life buddies talking about buddy action comedy movies. I'm Kenny Lane.
I'm Lucas Hill.
Heyo! It's beer o'clock.
Mary got me this 9.5% alcoholic beer. So,
Woo!
yeah,
It's
go
like
like that.
malt liquor, but even better.
Good. Oh, it's fruity too.
Oh, yeah. Like a fruity, hazy IPA or something like that.
Like that.
Do you like IPAs? Are you a big IPA guy?
Love IPAs. I can't like drink, sit down and put down 12 IPAs, but I love an
Mhm.
IPA thrown in, like
Yeah,
I go golfing, I'll bring an IPA.
yeah.
But the hazy ones, I don't like the fruity ones, or if they're anything above 7%, I'm really cautious of.
Yeah.
I don't know why she bought me this. She
Hmm.
just doesn't get her man.
I'm not a big IPA fan. I like all beer. Hey, I'll take a beer, whatever you got, I'll drink it. I was working as a bartender for a long time. Like guys are really fucking obnoxious about their IPA stuff. Like, how what's in it? This is have this is have this. Is this it's fucking rotten barley and oats. Just fucking drink it. Like, shut up. And then so I don't get the whole IPA snobbery that comes along with it.
Well, and what's weird about IPAs is I like IPAs, but none of my friends drink IPAs or they'll drink them, but none of them are IPA people. Like literally
Yeah.
none of them. And I have a very vast friend net, as you know.
Oh, big time. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Wide circle.
Oh, very big, very
All the way to
diverse.
the White House.
None of them like IPAs. I'm like, someone has to be liking these IPAs. It's hard to
Hey,
find a beer that's not IPA
hey, you
sometimes.
bring over IPA, I'll drink it with you, bud. That's what kind of friend I am. Even though I'm
Yeah.
not a big fan, I will drink your beer.
What are you making with all those tools behind you? You been working on
Um,
anything?
a panic room. I have a couple panic rooms here. So I
Oh,
live in the tsunami area,
right.
so I got to get a panic room for the tsunamis.
Now, building a panic room for tsunami, do you want that above ground or do you want that below ground?
I never really thought about it. I've been doing it underground, but maybe that's a bad idea for a tsunami. I don't know.
Like, do you have vents on it?
What are vents?
It's going great. How you been
It's
doing,
going real
Kenny?
great.
How's your life?
That's pretty good. Megan and I went fishing. I think when I talked to you like a week or two ago, we were just going up to South Bend to go fishing. But if we got done this little pond, she wanted to go to the spot where she likes off the highway, and it's right off the bay, the Willapa Bay that we went to when you were up here. And we were walking in, and she was like, "That looks too muddy," and I did that kind of thing of like, shut up, like out of the way, woman. And I walked in, and my feet immediately that became like the T1000 when he gets into the like the liquid nitrogen.
Yeah.
And I got stuck, and then a shoe came off, and I was holding like two poles and a tackle box and a cooler. And I think I was like, and I yelled out like I think I yelled help, and Megan was just quickly, just especially trying to get her phone up to record me while I was all struggling,
Good.
from the bank.
Yeah.
And I fell right in the mud, and oof, man, dignity, always dignity. That's my motto.
Dignity first, the Kenny Lane
Yeah,
motto.
it's kind of hard to have dignity when you've lost both your shoes into a mud thing and you're just covered in mud. But
As long
whatever.
as you blamed her immediately and yelled at her for her faults.
I don't know if I blamed her and yelled at her, but
Uh,
I did. I think I did cry for help, and she was just kind of trying to get her phone and just
well,
like
then you
fell.
don't know how to be a man.
Well,
That
tell me,
happened to
Luke. How do I
me.
how do I be a man? What is your alpha
Why
instruction?
did you tell? You told me to go in. I went in like because you were afraid to go in, and now look at me. I'm covered in mud. It's not hard.
Oh, there you go. This is like a step by step how to
Yeah,
blame the woman,
yeah, exactly.
get angry, and therefore she knows who's boss again.
Yeah, and then
Okay,
you
I
wait
like
her
that.
out. Yeah,
Yeah, I like that.
yeah.
How about you? What have you been up to
There
lately?
we go. There we
Yeah,
go. There's the sociopath learning how to talk to another human being.
there you
Takes
go.
him
I'll
a
get it. I'll
second.
get. I'll get the whole I talk, you talk thing eventually.
How are you?
Yeah. Oh wait, sorry. I was just thinking about my life.
No, I'm good. I've had to,
You
I've
want
had
to
to,
extrapolate on that or no?
my dad has dementia,
Oh,
so I've
yeah.
been having to take him to his he's got to get eye surgeries and shit. So,
Hmm.
but I know your dad passed away and everything, and my dad's pushing 80. If he's not, no, I don't think he's 80 yet. He's almost 80.
Get up there, yeah.
But like the dementia thing is crazy. Like he'll hand me something. I got this, dad.
Hmm.
Like 2 seconds. Oh, where's the thing? I was like, I got it, dad. And then like just over and over again. Or I'll call and
Yeah.
ask me something. Yeah, I'll be there at 9:20. Okay, blah 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 blah. Well, what time are you going to be there? 9:20. Well, you can't be here at 9:20. It's like we already talked about this. Like
Hmm.
it's hard to remember it's a disability and not get frustrated or angry.
Well, yeah, or like, I've heard people say it's if you get angry or just like, don't you remember? We just talked about this. If you get like snappy with them, so they just get confused and it makes it worse. If you
Yeah.
try to like say like, hey, we just went over this.
Yeah. So it's interesting, watching your family, your parents get older and losing their faculties, whether physically or mentally. So it's a lot of fun.
Well, it's inevitable, unfortunately, but yeah, it's a rough patch for sure.
It's not inevitable.
There's always the easy way out. Wink, wink.
You can always get off your kid's shoulders with one easy.
Tired of being a burden? I know the way. There was this book, Naked Lunch. It's a book that I read about 55 pages of, and I was like, I don't understand a fucking goddamn thing I've read. William S. Burroughs,
Yeah,
but he had this line about an Irish mattress party. I was like, what the fuck's an Irish mattress party? I
sounds
guess it's a
fun.
term of where they had so many people in these little like houses, and if someone got old and became a burden, they would put a mattress on top of them in bed, and then the whole family would sit on it until that person died.
You know what? If I were on top of that mattress, I'd just have to fart and we'd all laugh.
And that's the first fun family gathering we've had in like weeks.
No, that's horrible. I
Yeah.
would, you know what? I wouldn't bring the family into it. If I were the man of that house, I'm like, I'll just kill him.
Hey, we do it as a family. No, no, no. We all contribute. We all contribute.
Is the old person like down for it? Like your mattress party's tonight? It's like, thank you. I can't wait to be smothered by my own family.
I
This
don't.
is
I can't imagine they ask him or I don't. I don't think it's a. It's basically it's a. Hey, we're gonna say goodbye, and they're as we sitting on top, and as you hear moans, and I don't know.
all right. Great opening. Nice,
Fun
uplifting.
stuff. Fun stuff.
Yeah, a lot of fun stuff in that. Kenny got stuck in the mud.
Hmm.
Irish people kill old people.
Their family members like having mattress parties.
What do we do here on Buddies on Buddies?
We cover buddy action comedy movies, and this week we're going to be covering the 1998 New Line Cinema release Rush Hour, directed by Brett Ratner and starring Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker.
And before we get into Rush Hour, we like to talk about the movies we've seen other than Rush Hour since our last episode. Are there any movies that stand out to you that you would like to speak about? Kenny Lane.
Well, the one I went to the theater to see, I saw Godzilla versus King Kong 2, I think it's called, or
No, no,
Rise of
no,
the Empire, I
no.
think
It's
something like that.
called like not Forbidden Island. It's called something else. It's not that. But
Somehow, but who
but
cares?
before I do want to see that movie. I haven't seen it yet, so no
Uh,
spoilers. All right.
okay, no spoilers, fine. Uh, really had a good time. We kind of were laughing at had a good time we had with it, and Megan and I even went back the next night to see it, almost as a goof, but also because it was a lot of fun. I don't know if you're gonna like it though, but we'll
What did
see.
you like the last one?
Yeah, I like the last one. I think this one is even like sillier and more fun.
It's like let's drop the pretensions of being a movie and we can just have a good time.
Yeah, and I kind of been missing that from a lot of blockbusters the past decade or so. It seems like they've always had this like inclination to get real serious, like like Logan and War of the Planet of the Apes and the Batman, and all the others had to be so. Even like the James Bond movies got like real serious and
What
stuff.
about
And
the Fast and Furious movies?
those are very goofy, very silly. There's still some. I'm not saying that they're completely gone, but I would say with Godzilla versus King Kong 2, I wouldn't expect the approach to be, ooh, let's really get serious with this. And they did. They made it even more silly, and I enjoyed it very much. And I started to clap at the end, and the whole theater clapped. And Now the theater people that own the theater, they know I'm in the theater if everyone starts clapping.
Great.
Yeah.
So they've honed in on the cancer,
What?
the symptom. They see the symptom, and now they just have to isolate the little cancer.
Are you saying you're starting a clap is equivalent to
Let's
having
check out what I
cancer?
saw. I saw Deer Hunter
Okay, let's move off
for
of that.
the for the first time in a while. I haven't seen it since my early 20s. Mary's always
Mhm.
wanted to watch it, so I watched Deer Hunter.
Yeah,
You've seen Deer Hunter, right?
yeah,
Yeah, it was fantastic. Mary fell asleep, but it was a great movie.
yeah.
Uh,
I did read
were
your
you going to say
review in
something?
Letterbox, and it sounded like you didn't like it that much, even though you rated it pretty high.
No, I rated it 4.5 stars. But when I was in
Okay,
my 20s, I was like the best movie ever made. So
really?
rewatching it, I was like, yeah, it's really the first act or the first almost half is like so overindulgent. Like
Hmm.
this isn't even like artistic expression. They could get out of here so much quicker to Vietnam. They take so long. And I was like, yeah. I didn't think it the first time. Rewatching, I was like, this is bullshit. And the cut to Vietnam is great and all, but it could happen 20 minutes earlier. You wouldn't have lost anything, I don't think.
Well, I haven't seen it for a long time. It was one of those very beloved. A lot of people I know like it's like their favorite movie, or it's like the best movie ever
Yeah.
made. One of those. Didn't get it when I saw it like in college, but my thing is actually I liked the first half, like with the wedding stuff. When I got to Vietnam and the whole Russian roulette stuff, I thought that was just kind of I didn't. Well, obviously I didn't connect with it, but like I thought it was very melodramatic, even incorporating that whole stuff with Vietnam, like you said, was already crazy and dramatic enough. And then Walken stays there, and I don't know, the whole thing it lost me like in the second half.
Yeah, in my review on Letterbox, I said like the war is crazy enough. You don't need to fabricate this fucking fake Russian roulette thing that they have in the movie that doesn't exist, never existed in real life. There's no records of it whatsoever. They just made that
Yeah,
up.
right.
Hey, let me ask you
Well,
this: could
yeah.
you see yourself in your early 20s, late teens, maybe participating in Russian roulette if you were drinking enough, around enough guys? You think you would ever?
Well, you were there for my teens. We were both there, and our 20s, and I don't think Russian roulette ever even came across
No,
like,
no, no.
hey,
I
let's
know it
do it.
hasn't. I'm saying like if it did, could you see your young, I mean, basically immortal self putting the gun to your head with the 1 in 6 chance?
I was never into like doing something really dangerous and stupid just to do it. Now, if I needed a place to go, I need to drive home, and I'm really drunk, I would do that because I need to go home. That's not but just putting a gun and just tink tink ha ha. I am that's I would not have been into that thing. How about you?
I
Do
think
you think
so.
you
If
would
it
have
was
been into
the
that
right
if I was to
situation.
suggest that to you like late night?
Yeah, if it was a bunch of testosterone going around, everybody's like, scared, we're all drunk, I could see
Yeah,
myself putting the gun to my head and like,
but
I could
what a
see
stupid
myself.
way to die though.
Yeah. Well, at least I'm taking myself out, not a family and their kids and stuff drunk driving. Yikes.
I never even considered that. Now I should probably stop doing it after a couple of DUIs.
So, what did you think of Rush Hour?
Uh,
Wait, real
I
quick, real
yeah
quick.
yeah.
Sorry, because I don't want to like put this in the middle of our review. You always joked about how you wanted to write a sequence in a movie as a joke. A what's it called? Hot air balloon chase. You thought that
Did
was
I?
so funny. Oh yeah, you told me this for years. I mean, in our
I
20s.
did that Police Academy 4.
Well, I just read a yeah. You talked about it all the time though, and I just
I don't
read
remember
it.
that, but okay.
You don't have to remember it. It's true. But I just read a screenplay today for work, and
Uh
it was
huh.
a very earnest. It was like a Grissom trying to be, lawyer thing where they get in a hot air balloon chase,
Huh.
and it was hilarious, and
Oh.
not intentionally. And I'm kind of hurt. You don't remember? You used to bring that up all the time.
I'm not saying it didn't happen, but I know some things that I pushed like for years, and I see some of them pop up and things afterwards, but I don't remember ever pushing a hot air balloon chase, even though I could have. But I don't remember that.
No, you definitely did. But I
Okay.
kind of it kind of deflates my whole story. You could have at least pretended
Okay,
like
okay. Let's just say I did. I'll go with it. And all right, well, but my first name was Police
awesome.
Academy 4. Did they already do that?
But that's a anyway. What'd you think about Rush Hour?
Rush Hour. Okay, we're back to Rush Hour. Overall, yeah, like I said, we reviewed so many of these things. I mean, I liked it. It's good. As far as these things go, it's pretty well made, pretty, like, you know, first class, whatever, like these buddy action comedy movies. So I enjoyed it. There's certain things I liked about it, certain things I'm not sure has aged that well. It was basically, I liked it pretty much exactly how I thought it would. Like, I have nice kind of memories of it. I don't think I've seen it like in a long time. But overall, yeah, it's a good one, but also nothing to be like rave about, I guess. How about you?
Yeah, like I guess we forgot. I want to try to incorporate this in our future things. Like, what is your memory of this? Because of course we've all seen it before.
Yeah.
Like for me, like I've seen this movie before, but I'm much more familiar with Rush Hour 2. I feel like that's the one I've seen
The
several
most.
times, and this one I've probably only seen 2 or 3 times, not including bits on cable. Whereas Rush
Yeah.
Hour 2 is how I think of Rush Hour.
Hmm.
But
Well,
anyway,
Rush Hour 2, I mean, I was surprised. I thought this was like Lethal Weapon or Die Hard, where the first did well, but the second one did like super well. Second one did do better than the original, but this one still made like $250 million internationally, which back then was a shitload, especially for a movie that cost like $35 million. So the second one, but yeah, I think the second one was huge when it came out. Like, I think a lot of people saw this one on video that missed it in America at least, so they're ready for the second one. But yeah, I remembered most of it. Basically, it wasn't any big like, oh, I forgot this happened or this happened. It was all fine. I thought it was actually a surprisingly well directed for these movies go by Brett Ratner. We might get to in a little bit here, but yeah, overall, I think like the freshness of like Chris Tucker's shtick, and also for Jackie Chan fans, I don't know if this is one of his like they'll dig this movie because even he was like, I'm not really a big fan of the Rush Hour movies. They're just way too American, and it's more of the Chris Tucker show or something. So yeah, I mean, it has its moments. I think it works as a whole pretty well. But as also, it wasn't like oh wow, I love this movie. It was like yeah, that's good.
I liked it a lot. I thought it was slick, fun, entertaining, and one of the more entertaining. Well, here's the thing. It's not just the action's good, but the
Mhm.
comedy is almost equal level with the action, more than like the Lethal
Yeah,
Weapon movies or anything, more than
yeah.
probably any movie we watch. As far as
Or the
action,
comedy and the action are clicking.
buddy, comedy, like this is like
Mhm.
all those
Like they're
elements together.
mhm.
Like there are better movies for sure. Like I
Right.
prefer the Lethal Weapon movies, but this with all those three subgenres together, this is by far like
All 3 were firing on they were all clicking, basically, for you.
exactly.
I'll agree with that, like, as far as, like, our buddy action comedy, this is maybe, like, if someone wants an example of what is a buddy action comedy, this might be it.
Yeah. And Chris Tucker's just fucking hilarious. Like
Yeah.
I there was a time where he's in an action scene. It's a really brief thing, but the guy like swings his foot at him or he stops it, and then like instead of like just punching him out, they cut to him and his eyes bulge, and then he punches him out. Like little things
Yeah.
like that are like really funny. Like I
Yeah.
don't.
Well, he was pretty funny in this, and it kind of I guess when I think about so I look back at him now, and we talked about Money Talks last year when we did that one, is that where his career went, where I guess where I thought it was gonna go, and where it actually kind of went was basically just the Rush Hour movies, one, two, three, and that was it. And he didn't really, I don't think he was really interested in going anywhere else or whatnot. I've heard different things, but anyway, it just kind of like he is so funny and dynamic and all sort of stuff. But just knowing that kind of this is it basically. This is what all he did. It kind of to me, it's kind of like a shame when I watch this in a little way.
Well, he made 42 million according to the whatever the internet,
Mhm.
just for appearing them, not including the points, which he got a lot of, especially in the
Yeah.
last two. So he's rich out of his mind. If he's not passionate about making films, it's not like he didn't get offers. He's like, I got enough money. I'm good to do whatever the fuck I want now.
Right. and I get that. And well, this is all what I've heard. Take it with a grain of salt. I don't know. I've never met Chris Tucker. I don't know him personally, but basically was like when he was auditioning, like Dave Chappelle talks about in the '90s, he would go to auditions, and when Chris Tucker would walk in, like half the guys would just leave because he would just nail every fucking audition, and he was all that stuff. Then he got Money Talks, and then right around time Rush Hour broke, or Rush Hour 2 maybe, he became a born again Christian. So he didn't want to do any of the like smoking weed comedies or like that kind of thing. So basically he was just like, I'm against this. I will do a Rush Hour movie every 7 years for $20 million, and that's it. I don't want to, but that's but I guess with getting $20 million, he with an entourage and all this other shit, I think his money basically ran out around 2012, or right when he was in that Silver Linings Playbook and stuff. So, but by that time, it was kind of like, well, you haven't really wanted to do anything for besides Rush Hour movies, so we're not really interested in the Chris Tucker business anymore. That's what I've heard anyway.
Well, besides Chris Tucker in his personal life, speaking of Chris Tucker, can we hear your best Chris Tucker impersonation?
We do a Chris Tucker impersonation. Hold on. I gotta work up to.
Take it down.
Come on, man! You don't do that shit, man! Don't let it die. Can you do a Chris Tucker or a Jackie Chan?
I won't. That's tantamount to blackface. I won't do it.
Oh yeah, thank you for setting me up for that.
The cast is insane in this.
Like, good cast. We got Tom Wilkinson, Philip Baker Hall,
Chris Penn.
Mm-hmm.
It has John Hawkes, who's a very good actor. He played the guy on out of Chinese Man's Theater.
Yeah,
and I guess their scene they improvised so much that they were.
I read that too. That they couldn't cut it together.
Yeah, because John Hawkes is a dramatic actor, a very good one. Who's you got him all. But yeah, what a great cast. Hey, I have a question, and it bothered me when Jackie Chan evades him at the first, in that scene, exactly that scene. And then when Chris Tucker catches up to him, he puts a gun to his head and shit. Like, why is he like holding him at gunpoint? Did that bother you?
Oh, and the guy pulls a gun on both of them and stuff.
No. He pulls the gun on Jackie Chan.
Because he ran away from him.
Gets on so Jackie Chan gets on the bus, so he catches up the bus. He's like, God, like, what are you gonna do? Shoot him?
And he's like an ambassador to like China and stuff like that. Like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, that is a little overzealous to pull your gun on the guy just kind of evaded you, who you're supposed to be hanging out with. He's not even a prisoner.
I know. I guess it's just movie logic where you like hold people at gunpoint or something.
Right.
I like how in the pool hall scene, Jackie Chan calls them ignorantly, but racial slur, and then beats the shit out of all of them.
Yeah. Do you want to say what he says?
What? No, I would never do that. That's horrible. That's a horrible.
I'll say it. No, I'm not gonna say it yet. Yeah, and hey, Night Train by James Brown, needle drop is playing during that scene.
Yeah, but I just thought it was funny. He goes and like he doesn't know what he's doing, so he drops a racial slur, and then he just beats the shit out of everybody. Like,
yeah, well, that's you have to have a Jackie Chan fight like every 20 minutes, so something's got to happen.
I sent you the video from Brick Wall Pictures. If anybody wants to look him up, he does good shit. Brick Wall Pictures. Yeah. But he has a whole thing on how Jackie Chan does have stunt doubles, and he's got plenty of them.
Yeah, I kind of brought that up when we were doing Skip Trace, that episode way back when, and it's like
Johnny Knoxville. I remember that one.
Yeah, and I was saying that like I don't think that really. Well, I don't know if I said I don't think Jackie Chan does all his own stunts, but I mean I'm pretty sure he has a stunt doubles for insurance purposes, and he has done a lot of his own stunts and stuff. But I think that is a myth that they've kind of rolled out with his legend that he's had stunt doubles for years, and yeah, he does a lot of his own big stunts, and some of them have been nuts. But it's not always Jackie Chan.
Yeah, who knew Hollywood and the entertainment industry is trying to pull one over at us. Yeah, watch the Brick Wall Pictures one. I put it in your playlist, but
I watched it. Yeah, and I told people for years Michelle Yeoh jumping on the train on a motorcycle. I was like, she's badass. She did that, and she's even claimed in interviews, like in that video, it shows like, I did that, and then you can clearly see in his like behind the scenes footage that is not Michelle Yeoh driving a motorcycle onto a train. So. but also I think maybe in China. But also, I'm not a big I'm a big fan of stuntmen in general, and that doesn't detract me from the movie. I guess like when I watch '70s James Bond, a guy jumping on from a plane to plane, I'm not like, that's not really Roger Moore. This sucks. I mean, some guy did that. I think that's cool. Like, doesn't have. I can separate the fact that that's not the main actor pretending to do that. It's a different guy, but it's a real guy. I don't know. I've never really been a big stickler for actors doing all their own stunts. I guess
That's fine, but when they sell it like that, you feel like
when they say that, though, yeah.
yeah. I spent my whole life thinking Jackie Chan did his own stunts, and then you get older and
Mhm.
you're like, wait a minute, how could one person do all that? And then
Yeah.
I just they should all go to prison and be hung.
Well, I just think stuntmen need to get more props. It's like, like,
Exactly, exactly.
yeah,
Give the guy give the person the props that did the stunt.
right. Like in the video, Keanu Reeves, where there's like, I'm in John Wick. So is that you do your stunts? It's like, well, I fight as John Woo, but then when I get hit by a car, that's not me. That's the guy. And he names the guy. That's what you should do. I don't think
And
no
these
one's
action
like, oh,
stars,
John Wick sucks now.
these action stars are like, this just trickle down economics. It makes you. I mean, I know you're a big fan of trickle down economics, but it's like you do the dub stuff. I get the star power for it, and then you get paid a
Mhm.
little extra. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
Worst one of the worst lines, worst punchlines after
Mhm.
he kills that guy. By the way, the guy from Lost is in this. Sorry. Anyway, when Chris Tucker kills the guy from Lost, his punchline was "Wipe yourself off, man. You're dead."
Yeah. Yeah.
What does that even
That
mean?
little that little exchange right there too, when they're like, drop your gun, let's fight like men. That whole
Yeah.
thing. I thought there was going to be some sort of, but they do it where they both kind of don't drop their guns, but they both pull out a different gun at the same time and shoot. I didn't like that. I thought Chris Tucker should have just talked him into dropping his gun, then shot him like Ford Fairlane did in the great film Adventures of Ford Fairlane.
Yeah. Well, that's not a buddy action comedy, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, sorry. I know you're a one subgenre guy, so
I'm on one train here.
yeah. Do you have any more notes?
I'm pretty much done with my notes because
Okay.
you have notes.
So a couple of stuff. Okay, the bomb stuff in this. Like, this is the second time we've seen on this show or the movies we covered that someone has shot a trunk full of C4 and explodes, which apparently that's not how C4 works.
No.
But also the cutting the wire thing and the ticking time clock, that was pretty fucking tired by even 98, I'd say. And also, I did a little like YouTube little research and stuff, and like for how many movies, how much cliche is of cutting the wire, especially like the 80s and 90s. I don't think bomb. That doesn't like that pretty much never happens with bomb squad people.
Well, you can't keep a good cliche down. If it generates
Mhm.
drama and suspense, they're going to use it. Why
Yeah,
create a new thing?
right. I will say about the movie itself. I did like how when they become buddies,
Mhm.
that did work. I think their chemistry really works in this. I think this was probably one of the better buddy pairings we've had. Even though I think Jackie Chan in an interview said he didn't like Chris Tucker for this movie. They're friends now, but he didn't like them. He didn't like him while they were making it. But I did feel the turn when they become friends, and it's one of the better ones we've had, I think. And I do like that. How last week we were doing the Arnold Schwarzenegger Russian pairing up the American Cup, and then now we have like a Chinese guy pairing with them. I think that I like that in a way that like these countries that are kind of our enemy, and then we have these silly like buddy action comedies where they pair up to fight the bad guys. I think maybe we need more of these movies to bring us all together and make us all happy. That's what I think anyway.
So, what would be your version of a modern buddy action comedy of that right now in
A
today's market?
Jersey Shore guy and a guy from Iran pair up, and they don't like each other at first, but they both learn something by the end, and they both respect each other, and they both shoot the drug dealer in the head.
Okay.
Yeah,
Even though, aren't we moving towards drugs aren't so bad?
I'm not. Fuck no, no, no. Drugs are fine, but but no. Anyway, I did like that aspect of this movie in particular.
Okay, good. And what would you rank this movie? Star rank, not rank, rate. Yeah.
I mean, I'd probably give it like a 3.5, probably a 4 as far as these things go. Like it's a pretty well made movie. Well, I guess I'll give you a rating, but I want to ask you about Brett Ratner. We should probably cover Brett Ratner.
Let's do the ratings first, then we have a
Sure,
few
yeah.
other things we can cover. Yeah.
Because I would say like I think it's a pretty well made movie, and it's a very slick, like you said, very like it might be the prototype or something for these.
Yes, exactly. That's why I give it a 4.5 as a buddy action comedy. I think it is, as you said, a great example to introduce people to the genre and
Mhm.
subgenre, whatever the fuck you want to call it. As a
Yeah,
movie, 3 stars. It's entertaining. You're not going to be bored. Chris Tucker's great. Jackie Chan's great. Can't do worse
yeah.
than that, you know. But as a buddy action comedy, oh, it's almost The
You,
Godfather,
you
you
put
know.
up there like 48 hours
Oh
and
yeah,
like yeah, like those big ones. Okay,
yep, absolutely, in my opinion, and
right on.
it's a humble opinion.
Okay, well, Brett Ratner, yeah. So, any thoughts on him? Because he is the director of the movie, and we talked about it was a pretty well made movie.
Yeah, and he directed it really well, and there's
Hmm.
some sexist stuff.
Sure.
Could have been more racist. I felt like it didn't push any envelopes with the racism, you know. Like I was never.
A little bit with the gongs every time Jackie Chan comes on camera for like the first like 20, 30 minutes. A gong, gong. Yeah.
But Brett Ratner, I will always think about when he was directing and got fired from the Oscar
After,
ceremony, was dropping the F bomb and calling people the F bomb,
hmm.
which is the dumbest fucking thing to do. Like, it's so
He said a lot of
stupid.
stupid shit in interviews. Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's a piece of shit.
Well, I mean, I would say like he sounds like he's up there with like James Toback and even like Harvey Weinstein as just one of those guys that used his Hollywood status just to totally be like a sexual predator to women and stuff. I mean, Olivia Munn's book, she basically talks about what a piece of shit he is. Nasa Henstridge said she was basically raped by Brett Ratner and stuff. So this isn't like kind of one of those he said she said I think situations. This is where he's had a
It's not a Woody
trail.
Allen situation.
Well, he's had a trail of just bad fucking smoke, for a while, and like Gal Gadot basically fired him off Wonder Woman. Like told Warner Brothers like get him the fuck off this. He's like one of the producers of Wonder Woman, and she's like get his fucking ass like off this thing. So yeah, I think, but it's strange though because I remember I ran into him one time at on the Fox lot, and he was like editing X-Men 3, I think, and I remember him coming out like in flip flops and short cotton shorts and like a shirt. And I was like, wow, I guess this is what a director looks like. The first time meeting like a actual big Hollywood director. And he just looked like he just woke up with a huge fucking hangover. Not that you have to be like well dressed to go to the editing room, but still, I was like, wow, I guess you could look just like I do on Sunday and be a big Hollywood director. But yeah, anyway, it's crazy how like big how much momentum he had for a while there as like a big A-lister director, and then that just fucking all went away once that shit came out.
And it's good. It's good. Things should change. That
It is
shit
good,
shouldn't be
yeah,
allowed. You shouldn't be allowed to be a predator and continue to work in any industry. And
right. If you make money or not, yeah,
I think Hollywood, the light shines on them, but it's every industry, it's every company. And I worry about companies that don't get that attention. They don't get media attention, so they don't do anything about it. So there's probably plenty of horrible motherfuckers running companies and treating people like shit and hopefully not raping people. Kenny lost his audio. He's working on it. In the meantime, this is Showa de Lucas.
hey, now I can hear you. Can you hear
Ah,
me?
damn it. I had a lot to say.
Oh,
Hey, Kenny, real quick before we go. So I've been doing a lot of interviews, you said, because I've been trying to find a new career. Have you
yeah.
ever heard of the Star interview?
The Star interview.
So it's a new, like when you try to get a job at like JP Morgan or like State Farm or all these big companies, they use
Uh-huh.
it's called a Star interview. It's
Okay.
so it's Star for situation. T
Mm,
is so you present a situation. T is your technique or tactic or
okay.
what you did.
Uh-huh.
A is how you activated it,
Okay.
and R is the result of that. So if you
Hmm.
get asked a question, you want to incorporate those into your answer, almost like telling a story. So I'll give you a
Situation,
question, I'll give you
tactic, what that ones?
action
Action.
and the results of your actions.
Can you give me an example of using all four of those?
Oh, Jesus Christ, Kenny, you didn't research any of this? Yeah, so it's like, yeah, I oh
Okay, can I give you a question and then you try to like
yeah. Let's give that a try.
incorporate?
Even though I wanted this
Okay.
to be all you, but I'll give
Okay.
it a try.
This
Yeah.
goes into my new segment too. Okay. Oh, okay. Trans women competing in women's sports. What do you think?
Okay.
Go.
So
Situation.
no. This is supposed to be
Tactic.
about your work. So here's a better question. It's like
Okay.
you have a client or customer who is upset with something they got. How did you respond to that?
Oh, that reminds me of the time I worked at a dildo factory where someone returned their dildo saying it was way too big and black, and they were not happy with it. I uh, told them in a very nice voice that the dildos here are not returnable, and we also don't endorse racism here. And then I punched them in the goddamn mouth, and they reacted as walking away and crying.
You're hired.
Hey, there we go. All right.
Good. So you nailed
Yeah.
that star interview. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job.
What do you think?
I said it was a good job.
Okay, great. I want more.
Give me another one. All right. Did you have a new segment you wanted to introduce?
No, not really.
That's not what you said in your text messages.
At this point, I introduced you. You're just gonna cut me off. So whatever.
Oh, come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Who's gonna cut
come
who
on?
off?
I've only done that 47 times. Like I won't do it again.
Well, at least explain what it is so we know what it is for next time.
Okay.